safe to say most of us still have much to learn when it comes to engaging people with disabilities. To that end, Siobhan, who uses a guide dog, recently went into schools to enlighten children about her experience being visually impaired. Let's take a listen.
Do you ever get lost?
I do. I get lost a lot.
How do you choose your clothes?
I know where all of my clothes are because I have set places for them.
How does your dog guide you?
So Marty, as you can see, he's got the harness on. I can feel when the handle is going left or right, or when he stops at the curves. So I either know to go down or to go up. He puts his two front paws on there.
Well, I'm pleased to be able to say that we're joined now by Siobhan Mead and Kelsey Trevitt, who are hoping to raise awareness of visual impairment. Hello to you both. Thanks very much indeed for joining us on the programme. Siobhan, to you first of all, tell us what it's like when you go into school and, children just ask the most innocent of questions, don't they?
They do. They don't seem to have any filters, which I love, because I think it's important for children to be able to ask those questions that they're really inquisitive about, and that's how we learn, that's how we develop as people, to ask those questions, to get that education, that raising that awareness about guide dogs and vision impairment.
Kelsey, you attended both main and specialist schools during your education. I think you're now at Oxford, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right.
What sort of challenges did you face, given that you were visually impaired?
There are a lot of challenges. I think a lot of them are, in a mainstream environment. So I was in a mainstream school up until and including my GCSEs. And I think the challenges are twofold. It's partially, as that video kind of touched on to begin with, looking at making sure that my peers and classmates were kind of able to engage and able to include me in kind of class activities and outside of class as well, which was honestly the smaller struggle. But the other one is making sure that classwork and materials are accessible, and that's increasingly more difficult in the mainstream environment at the moment.
And Siobhan, you're doing your best to try to sort that out. How are you trying to engage people to help people with a disability, but also people with a disability? What can you do to help them?
So what I'm trying to do is trying to go into schools to educate young people about blindness and how I live my life as someone who is blind, and the things that I do on a daily basis that enable me to be able to live the life I choose, not just with guide dog Marty by my side, but equally technology, and how technology has enabled me to be able to be independent, from a smartphone all the way through to other smart devices.
Kelsey, you tell me. I started off by saying that you went to mainstream and specialist schools. Tell me about the different experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're hugely different experiences. I think going into a mainstream school and studying there was a really great experience, and I really think it's something that's super important. I think I was really lucky, and I look back on it really fondly, that I could grow up as much as possible as a normal child. I could grow up in my local area with sort of just in an average kind of school. I guess the challenges that I pointed out before about trying to make sure there's accessible materials and accessible class content makes it really difficult. And so I went to a specialist college for my A-levels, and it was definitely something very relieving, not having to fight for accessibility and to make sure that I could access all my class materials. But I think there's also something there about studying alongside people with shared experiences and shared knowledge, and being able to share similar experiences of visual impairment. And I think there's something really powerful about that that's equally as important, but I'm really lucky and really grateful that I managed to attend the mainstream school and have those experiences as well.
Fantastic. It's good to talk to both of you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us on the programme this morning. Thank you.